Alright, second verse, same as the first, a little bit louder and hopefully not a lot worse. Tron. Tron, for people who are unfamiliar with archetype, new to Magic or new to Modern, refers to these three lands here: Urza's Mine, Urza's Power Plant, and Urza's Tower. And these three lands, when put together, refer to as Urza's Tron, to pay homage to the old children's cartoon because they're super powered when you get all three on the field at the same time. When all three of them are out, they tap for a combined 7 mana, which lets us cast big dumb colorless bombs up here. We assemble these lands into play consistently by playing cards like Sylvan Scrying that get any land out of our deck, and Expedition Map, as well as cards like Chromatic Star and Chromatic Sphere and Ancient Stirrings that allow us to kind of churn through the cards in our deck very quickly and consistently. Yeah, Pelly. They could also work around that pretty easily. Like, something they could probably implement on their digital side is if you scan a card that you have crafted, you get like full dust back for the card that you scanned, so you don't get penalized for crafting something and then buying it in paper later. Is probably an elegant solution. But there's like a lot of different solutions they could do to make that work out fine and be favorable for the consumer. This game doesn't really do anything. It's got 2 of the same Tron piece here, which I am not a huge fan of. And we're at 7, so I'm going to go ahead and play Catch and Release on this one. This hand is much worse. Remember, it's not that you had to mulligan, it's that you got to mulligan. He says as he looks at an unkeepable 5. Man, I'm longing. Anybody else longing for that 7 that we gave up? Anybody else? Anybody else longingly trying to remember that 7 that we threw back? Hey, Socio Penguin, thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Not out of doubt, but just out of wanting clarity, how is the arena market predatory as how you stated in the past? Okay, so the easiest way to tell if a market, especially in a freemium style game or free to play game like Arena, is if I asked you I have a blank account with nothing on it and I want to buy this constructed deck, how much money does it cost me? You can't give me an answer to that easily, and that's not consumer friendly. It is a complicated, and for the record, I think the free-to-play system on Arena and the rate at which you get cards, the amount of money you put in, is pretty reasonable overall. But I think the fact that I can't look at it and just go, oh, it cost me X dollars to get Y cards, that's intentional because it makes it confusing for the end user, so they lose track of how much money they're spending on the game. Yeah, as far as this match is going, Temple of Enlightenment likely signifies Ad Nauseam. They also spend the Lotus Bloom, so definitely Ad Nauseam. This is a harder matchup for us, for the Tron deck. That being said, we did mulligan to 4 and are going to have Tron on 3, so, you know, just Tron things. Yeah, there's a variety of ways in which they could fix that. Anytime it's complicated to figure out what you're getting for what you're spending, that is a consumer unfriendly practice designed to try and fleece more money from the users. And again, Wizards of the Coast is far from the only company to do stuff like that. It's very common in free-to-play games to confuse people into spending more money than they actually intended to. Hey, thanks for being here, Zero. So we're going to go ahead and cycle our star. We could hit another 1-drop that cantrips here. We have a Wurmcoil Engine. Ideally, we're looking for... Worldbreaker is actually a really good hit here. So I was going to say ideally we're looking for a Karn, because our way we interact with the opponent's deck in the first game is to like exile their lands and stuff like that and then put a big creature into play. So Worldbreaker is kind of like a one-shot Karn, right? When you cast it, it exiles target artifact, enchantment, or land. You have 2 in-game currencies to confuse and obfuscate. Yeah, like this game was a great example of like mulliganing is a privilege, not a penalty. Like, we mulligan to 4 and just, like, have turn 4 Worldbreaker, had turn 3 Tron. There's still a good chance we lose this game just because this matchup is really bad, but if we've been playing against, like, Jund or Blue-White Control, we'd probably be in a pretty okay spot here. London Mulligan too strong, right? Alright, so they're going to have 6 mana next turn regardless. So I think what my plan here is, since we drew this Oblivion Stone and I have 8 mana, we're going to cast this Oblivion Stone, and then we're going to hope they don't have Ad Nauseam and Angel's Grace in their hand. And if they don't have Ad Nauseam and Angel's Grace, this Oblivion Stone will get to trade with Lotus Bloom and Pentad Prism during their upkeep and set them pretty far behind on their mana development, and then we'll be able to Worldbreaker one of their lands next turn. That being said, if they have Ad Nauseam and Angel's Grace, we are going to die. It's a main deck copy of Echoing Truth. Alright, well, I guess we're just doing this now. Am I just doing this now? Right, just let this come back to my hand and then plan to play it next turn. You know, I don't think the combo adds any value to that deck, Rexbox. I was playing the combo in that deck explicitly because someone donated for me to play it with the combo. Please die to your Spoils of the Vault. Please die to your Spoils of the Vault. So Spoils of the Vault, they name a card, then they reveal cards from the top of their library until they find the card that they want. They revealed 1 card. Alright, probably dead. So they got to their namesake, Ad Nauseam. So how my opponent's deck wins is they cast the card Angel Grace, which says they can't die till end of turn, which allows them to draw the entirety of their deck with the Ad Nauseam card, because losing life doesn't kill them. And then eventually they pitch some Simian Spirit Guides and then cast Lightning Storm and kill us that way. Main deck silence, yep. Not that we had any interaction here. Yep, and my opponent has the Angel's Grace. We know they have the Ad Nauseam, so I'm just going to go ahead and concede. Might be... Motos run long the last couple of days. We have Tron as our first deck, and then Red Aggro and Pauper as our second deck. So it might be a day that we get to Arena pretty quickly today. No, that was just a YOLO spoils. It was just a YOLO spoil. So, like I said, this matchup's pretty bad for us. I have some Nature's Claims and some Thought-Knot Seers post board to interact with my opponent's hand and some of their artifacts and enchantments, but for the most part, it's a pretty uphill battle. Generally speaking, we have to get pretty fortunate for our deck to win this matchup. Obviously, this is Magic and nothing's impossible, but it is improbable that we'll win this match. Yeah, the opponent had main deck Echoing Truth and main deck Silence. Which that much interaction is actually kind of rare out of their main deck. Yeah, I mean this hand has turn 3 Karn, right? Like I said, Karn's one of our better ways to be interactive in this matchup, because he just like Stone Rains them a bunch, and their deck needs a lot of mana to function. Karn also pressures cards out of their hand once he ravages their mana base a little bit. Oh no, they have so much interaction in their deck. How's this deck going? Well, we're currently down a game in a matchup that's probably pretty impossible for us to win. Tron's a deck where I play this deck kind of sparingly because it's a deck that doesn't really ever generate what I would consider good games of Magic. It's usually just like a landslide victory in one direction or the other. Like generally speaking, Tron either slaughters someone or gets slaughtered. Its matchups are incredibly polarized. We grabbed a forest there with our Sylvan Scrying, so that way we have a green source to cast this Nature's Claim with. They suspended a Lotus Bloom, they played a Pentad Prism, so Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger is not a terrible pickup here. It means that if we draw a tower, we can double Stone Rain them next turn. And if we don't draw a tower, we're set up to be able to go forest next turn, Nature's Claim something, and then Ulamog them the following turn. How much life do we need to beat a Lightning Storm? A lot. And usually these decks play Laboratory Maniac in the 75, so beating Lightning Storm's not even really realistic. Blast Zone's not a terrible draw. I think I'd rather just Nature's Claim this Pentad Prism though. Just kind of attack their mana. Maybe I should wait a turn on this in case they play... Like, yeah, I'd probably wait till their end step, although it denies them the 2 mana on their next turn. They play, like, Phyrexian Unlife. I'm a little bit sad that I aggressively played that. But I guess if they play Unlife, I'm just playing Ulamog next turn anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I saw what I could only describe as, like, peak Modern players arguing their favorite semantics to, like, try and justify why they like Modern. Someone was asking for... I think I told this story, but I was reading through... I read various Magic threads to, like, you know, get ideas and, like, see how people in the community are feeling about things. And someone was asking for recommendations on fair Modern decks, and someone recommended Tron as a fair deck, and I was just like, this format is so messed up that anyone could even think to recommend a deck with Tron lands in it as a fair deck to someone. This is a YOLO spoils at 10 life. Please die. Please die. Please die. If they're naming a 4 of, it's not very likely that they die here. I assume we're dead here. Yeah, it's a job hazard, Doomfeast. So Angel's Grace plus Ad Nauseam, and we're dead. So we're at 32, and they already played a land for the turn, so I'm gonna make them kill me here. Yeah, I'm at 32, and I have 2 lands in my hand. Oh, they can... No, I'm not sure that they have enough to win with Laboratory Maniac. So you'd call yourself a professional magician. Yeah. Yeah. And I've been a professional magician for a long while now. Yeah, they need blue, right? And they have 4 Spirit Guide, so they can, like, pitch double Spirit Guide to, like, make a Pentad Prism with 1 color. But I don't think we're dead to Lightning Storm at this point. They have how many lands? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lands. So each land is +2, so it's only 25 damage on a Lightning Storm here. So I'm not dead to Lightning Storm. Yeah, it's 3 plus 2x, and there's 12 lands. It's 27, sorry, I said 25. Morning, Thunderwunk. Maybe they don't realize what my health total is. Because they lose the game on my untap step, because they're at -56. And even if they had enough lands, they would need enough lands to get to 32 plus 2 more, because I have 2 lands in my hand and can send it back at them. Well, they lose in their cleanup step. Yeah, that's true. Effects like that wear off in their cleanup, yep. Yeah, usually we're deterministically dead, but here we're not as far as I can see, so... Yeah, I think they're just, like, hoping they can scum us, basically. They're hoping that we don't understand how their deck works. I think they lost because we gained a lot. I guess there's 2 lands in exile. No, these are the lands that got exiled from Ulamog. I mean, Ad Nauseam's a deck that's doing something incredibly novel. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 20, looks like 29 damage is on the stack currently. And they have 28 cards in their hand still. I've had a non-zero amount of wins from people pitching lands at the wrong time trying to redirect. Yeah, I understand how Magic works. I've played a lot of Modern. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, they need to be able to get this to 32 and have 2 lands left in their hand after they get it to 32, so I can't pitch the Lightning Storm back at them. Fun fact, and I'm pretty sure this is still true, but this is the only card in Magic the Gathering that has an activated ability while it's on the stack, right? Is that still true? I know that was true for a long time. Is that still the case? Yeah, they're holding lands, hoping I mess this up. So they have enough to get it to 32 here. Activate Lightning Storm. Send it back at you. Yes. I would like to choose your face. Alright, do you have 2 more lands? Do you have 2 more lands? They need 2 more. They have to redirect it, then they have to redirect it again. Nice! Nice! Nice combo deck! Nice combo deck! Oh. Welcome to my Thunderdome opponent. I mean, we're gonna lose game 3 in a spectacular fashion, but that felt good. That's we're gonna lose the war, but we won one of the battles at least. Yeah, that's true. We technically didn't win the game till we untapped. I mean, this is a good Tron hand. It's a little slow in this matchup, but it's a good Tron hand. This is probably what you could call classic mono green Tron at this point. This is what the archetype looked like before people shoved a bunch of 4-mana cards into it. I'm not a huge fan of 4-mana card in this archetype. Alright, we could die as early as next turn. Power plant, tower, mine. Thought-Knot Seer is an incredible draw. Let's start with that. What you doing? What you got? What you got? Double Ad Nauseam. Oh, magic. Oh. Oh, magic. I just shouldn't even open my mouth. Like, open my mouth and let the words fall out. And I regret it every time. Looking for a tower so we can Ulamog them next turn. That's a Karn Liberated. Alright, we have that going for us at least. Baku Visions resolves. You got lucky. I just take whatever Tron pieces MTGO Trader sends me at random from their auto importer, and today they were matching Tron pieces. They're frequently not matching Tron pieces if you dig back into my video archives. But today they matched. They went double top there. That's terrifying. Would love to draw a tower. So do I Ugin? I'm exiling this regardless, right? So I should probably just Ugin. I think that's the line. I think regardless of Ugin versus Karn, I'm exiling this unlife. So I might as well do this because I don't want to use up one of Karn's down ticks, exiling this. So the hand right now is Ad Nauseam, Angel's Grace, and then one card I don't know. So I need to dodge land plus Simian Spirit Guide here, untapped land plus Simian Spirit Guide. And if I don't die this turn, I get to Ulamog them the next 2 turns, which probably means I win. And like I said, this matchup's not easy, but it's not impossible either. I think there's a good chance we're gonna win from here. Oh, that's right. They're already through a Simian Spirit Guide, so they probably can't win. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think we've actually got this. Yeah! Welcome to the Ponza bracket. Alright. Hooray! Sometimes that's why we call them 80-20s and not 100 zeros. Alright, I'm actually gonna be right back. I'm gonna go to the restroom really quick. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Don't go anywhere. Whoopsie. Probably pretty low, sadly, getting the Walking Ballista artwork in paper. They don't seem to bring the Moto artworks to paper terribly often. This is actually the best of the hands we've looked at so far. Do I ditch? Is it greedy to keep 2 payoffs here? Can I ditch the 2 spheres? I'm gonna keep the 2 payoffs. It's remember, if they're playing an aggressive deck, I'm gonna really want this Wurmcoil. Yeah, turn 1 Cavern Goblin. Hey, look, and there's a Chromatic Sphere on top of our deck. Rewarded. Now, I think in the dark, it's right to keep a split on these. Because, like, having one of these 2 things on turn 3 is one of your best things against most decks, so... Oh, would you look at that? A second Tron piece. I'm not really convinced that the Lattice Lock is very good. I'm not convinced that losing a bunch of my sideboard cards in this deck is something that I really want to do. Modern's a format where people frequently complain they don't have enough sideboard slots. So, like, voluntarily giving up a bunch of my sideboard slots doesn't sound like something I want to do. Alright, well, we're gonna have Tron next turn. Mull to 5, turn 3 Wurmcoil. Welcome to Thunderdome. That being said, they have a pile driver on the play here. If they have a haste creature, we're getting attacked for like 9. If they have 2 haste creatures, we're getting attacked for almost dead. Yeah. And this gives first strike and trample, right? I think we're actually dead. Let's get linear. I want to get linear. Let's get into linear. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Wow! Actual factual turn 3 kill out of goblins. Yeah. You know? Welcome to Thunderdome. Yeah, for the record, I think new Karn is good in Eldrazi Tron, but I also think it's easy to have upgrades for Eldrazi Tron because Eldrazi Tron's never been very good. But in this deck, I feel like most of the time I'd rather just have basically any other payoff. Pretty easy sideboarding here. Spatial Contortion and Thragtusks in. Trim the Relic, trim some of our more expensive top end that we're going to die before we cast a lot of the time. Whenever I want a couple of Nature's Claim just to randomly gain 4, probably not. Probably not. Do I want to trim a Karn instead of Worldbreaker because it blocks? Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to cast Worldbreaker on 3 just because it requires green mana. I think I'd rather have the consistency of casting my threat on 3. Seeing's not super exciting, but it's fine. If we draw a power plant or tower on 2, we have Tron on 3. Le Luke! I love your work, and I think Watsy should pay more respect to you. You're the best streamer. It would be cool to see you on a Pro Tour one day. I'll never get to play in a Pro Tour. They don't exist anymore. I plan to play in the Arena Mythic Championship qualifiers for what it's worth, but unless we spike one of those, I don't think that's ever gonna happen for us here. Kazenti, thank you for the 19 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I'm actually gonna Spatial Contortion this Goblin Guide this turn, rather than crack my map, because waiting to crack the map gives me one more chance to draw a Tron piece naturally. And I'd prefer to try and draw a Tron piece naturally so this can search up whatever third we're potentially missing. Yeah, like that. See? Just like we drew it up. Still gonna spatial here. Ink, 3-mana Chandra from M20 is modern playable. Nah, probably not. For a card to cost 3+ mana to be playable in modern, generally speaking, it needs to either have flash or like win the game on the spot. Or be involved in some kind of combo that wins the game on the spot. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, for me personally, I never went to many Grand Prix, but like, the fact that coverage doesn't exist to them anymore means that, like, if I had ever considered going to one, that means less of a chance, right? Because there's less a chance of me gaining exposure and growing my brand from, like, going to one and doing well. So, like, there's actually, like, just no upside to it now, whereas before there was, like, marginal upside from gaining exposure for my brand. These are a few of my favorite things. Do 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 do. The upside is the friends we've made along the way. I got plenty of friends, okay? I don't need more. Goblin Ringleader. Okay, so they just happened to have a really aggressive draw last game. Their deck's actually more mid-rangey, which is actually really good for us. Does the opponent not know there's more 1-mana goblins? Shh. The first Hoagland video I ever watched was Jeff in an owl suit, and that's when I knew I'd found the place for me. Good to have you, Citrus. Good to have you here. Yeah, our deck is also mid-rangey. I actually had, I had my partner rep offer me a free badge to either PAX West or TwitchCon, and I was thinking about going to one of those two events. I've never been to either, and it's been a while since I've been out to the left coast. I've actually never been to San Diego before, so TwitchCon could be fun. Yeah, there's the left coast and the right coast. It's funny. People who have been around a while, I actually just threw out my old MTG Card Market shirts over the weekend. And I put my meadery hoodies in a bin to donate because they were still in good shape. It's a long time. This hand's not guaranteed amazing. Would it just be me going or the family too? I don't know. So my parents are watching the kids' grandparents are watching the kids when we go to Gen Con next weekend. So I'm not sure if they would want a second weekend with them right off the bat. Well, that was a good draw. It's a good pickup. Yeah, I'm not even really sure, like, if there's things of value for me at TwitchCon. Like, from a growing your content perspective, I'm not really sure, like, there's much to gain there. There's also timing to consider though too. Like I think if I recall correctly, God, the stupid first strike creature. Have to be in the MPL. I mean, anyone who plays a lot of Magic would love to be in the MPL. Like getting paid a pile of money to do the thing you're doing anyways sounds great, right? Well, I know they don't have another creature, right? Because they had another creature, they would have cast it. They just like have they just have like Goblin Grenade in their hand. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I need a Spatial Contortion. That's not a Spatial Contortion. And again, like I said, this deck like the games just aren't super interesting. It's like you do your big thing, or they do their thing, and you die. Like even the match we won against Ad Nauseam, like he just like didn't do anything and died. Yep, peak modern. Opponent casts their sideboard card, we died. Yeah, exactly, Bob. Like, my opponent's deck won because it was 8 whack. I have no idea why they shoved Ringleaders and Matrons in their deck that was otherwise good. Why did they put a bunch of bad cards in their otherwise good deck? This hand's like pretty okay. I'm gonna keep. It doesn't have. I would prefer if these were 2 different Tron pieces, but like this could turn into a Tron piece, and then oh no, the most brain dead of them all, the Tron mirror. We drew the second Tron piece here, so we're guaranteed Tron on 3. Hopefully they're playing bad Tron, because good. Bad Tron. Bad Tron. What if I told you, opponent, that I had cards? I'm pretty sure this matchup is good for us. I'm pretty sure the deck with more biggity bombs is favored here. What is Bad Tron? Bad Tron is a Tron deck that has shoved Eldrazi Temple in their Tron deck. That being said, they could find a Ghost Quarter and Ghost Quarter me here, but that's fine. I still have an Oblivion Stone to play out next turn. Oh, no Ghost Quarter. Sure, yeah, Thought-Knot Seer resolves. Would you like my Oblivion Stone or my Karn? Pick your favorite card you can't beat. These are a few of my favorite things. That being said, we're going to get Ghost Quartered next turn, but I drew this Scrying, and the Ghost Quarter is going to give us green mana, so I think that's fine. Haunted Fengraf. What are we, Pauper? What is this, Pauper? Alright, I'll just blow this up now so I can use this mana to do stuff. It might be right to, like, wait and, like, have them pass to me on an empty board. Is a Hunted Fengraf. They can pay 3 and sacrifice this to return a random creature from their graveyard to their hand. So they got a Ghost Quarter there. They flipped a Reality Smasher into their hand. I would like this Ulamog, please. Hey, I've watched your YouTube channel forever and finally decided to open Twitch, and it seems like I've caught you live. Have a great day. Hey, Locke. Well, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful... Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday wherever you are. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, Ugin's pretty bad in this matchup. Concur. Oh, yikes. We're gonna get Ghost Quarter Crucible. That might actually be the thing that beats us. I guess Ugin's pretty good, huh? Oh, I can't actually Ugin, can I? I think we're actually dead to this Crucible. Because this, yeah, the Stony Silent aspect on this card might actually pitch this matchup in my opponent's favor. They have a Dismember? That's so brutal. Alright, so if I can find a third tower in 6 looks, I get to Ulamog them this turn. I got 6 looks at a tower. Okie doke. Welcome to Thunderdome. Lucky, lucky, lucky. I only have 6 lands, Bob. Demonic Tutor results. Do I take their card here? Is it greedy to not take their card? Their card's not drawing anything else, right? Can I just take a land? Can I just take them off a land? Like, the Karn's at 1. I think I want to just Stone Rain them. And they're two off of Tron still. I mean, if they cast another Karn, I just attack it, right? Yeah, they need 2 more Dismembers. And even if they have 2 more Dismembers, their Crucible's gone. So they can't take me off a Tron this turn, which means I get to play a Karn Liberated or an Ugin next turn. When I first subscribed, you were playing Tron and Legacy. That's true. There was a phase where we did that. Thanks for the 21 months, Jesse. Gosh, it's been a while. I'm becoming something of a relic around here. Alright, so, bad Tron. Thragtusk is absurd here. Dismember's good here. Relic is not particularly useful. Ugin is not particularly useful. I'm still looking to find a good Command the Dreadhorde deck to replace the one that I submitted. But pickings are slim. Thanks for the great content. Thanks for the 7 months random. Yeah, Command the Dreadhorde's kind of in a pretty terrible spot. Do I want my own Thought-Knot Seers in this matchup? I feel like I don't. I feel like that's worse than most of these. I also kind of don't mind cutting. I think I want to cut like 2 spheres here. Just because of Stony Silence and Chalice. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to cut 2 of my 1-drops that are also artifacts. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I should bring in Nature's Claim to kill Chalice on 1, right? I guess I keep this. It's pretty soft to Chalice on 1 if they have that turn 2. They have good access to Ghost Quarter though, so I don't like mulliganing super aggressively. If they don't Chalice on exactly 1, I get to Ancient Stirrings and then like to play this other star. We'll be in a pretty okay spot from there. Yeah, this is a Chalice. That's unfortunate. The old 1 mana spell into Chalice of the Void on 1, 2 games in a row. Just good, clean deck building. We're going to lose Oblivion Stone here, I assume. So it's going to be castable very shortly. I guess there's a chance they have nothing, but they're going to get to assemble Tron next turn. Does he have a Smusher? Sure, just a 3-2. You've assembled Tron and you've cast a 4/4 and a 3/2. Oh, eldrazi Tron. Oh, eldrazi Tron. We draw which member? Yes, we did. Alright. We're gonna draw exactly a power plant. Yep. Little baby Ugin. We said we were going to be weak to a Chalice on 1 that game, and they had it, and we were. If we'd have run a little bit hotter, we'd have been able to play through it, but we were not unfortunate. We're not fortunate enough to hit running Tron pieces. This hand just doesn't do enough. It's only got 1 Tron piece, and there's no way to find more. The Dismember's, like, kind of appealing, but as far as, like, Tron draws go, that one's pretty bad. This hand, on the other hand, is great. Opponent's mulligan to 5. I kept the Sylvan Scrying, so that way if they Ghost Quarter me and give me a green source, I can reassemble Tron right away. But we do have turn 3 Karn on the play here. This is a hand that beats Chalice. Yeah, turn 2 Chalice me, please. Yuya package.exe. I'd say too soon, but it's never too soon. I don't think it really matters, Locke. I think you'd rather have Nature's Claim because it's better against burn. I think a lot of the Chalice decks tend to be pretty okay matchups anyways. Hands like this are a good example of that. Alright. Cast Stone Rain with Rebound. There's the Tron deck I know and love. Cast my spell on turn 3. Concede. Oh, what an incredibly interesting and engaging game of Magic the Gathering, he says to himself with a chuckle. It's so unfair that Tron always wins the mirror. Why does including eldrazi deck make it bad Tron? You have eldrazi in your deck, so you're also not playing bad Tron. So the deck that I refer to as bad Tron there, Dude Light, is playing specifically lots of little eldrazi. So they're playing lots of 3, 4, and 5 mana cards. So basically, even when they assemble Tron, their deck is a bunch of individually weaker cards. Whereas this deck, when we assemble Tron, we have a bunch of really big bomb at the top end, which end the game all on their own, as that Karn just did there, for example. So the opponent's deck is basically built to play better when it doesn't have Tron mana, whereas our deck just has more ways to assemble Tron mana, so it has better payoffs when it has it. All right. I think I'm ditching these 3. Tron. In my opinion, not any of them, Dude Light, but Modern's a format. Modern is basically competitive casual Magic. There's a lot of people that fancy themselves competitive players that play decks that are ultimately just worse versions of other things in the format. It's very, very commonplace in this format. No, Eye of Ugin is banned. Eye of Ugin is not legal. Arid Mesa, Steam Vent, Serum Visions, I think it's probabilistically Phoenix. Could be some kind of Blue Moon deck as well. Now, if they have a 2-mana counter here, I'm actually going to get punished for not having played this on 2. Just to remand. Yeah, maybe I should have just played this on 2. I wanted to wait to play it on 3 so I could give myself the chance to draw Tron naturally. Oh, they're Storm. Are they Storm with fetches? They're Storm with fetches. Okay, this matchup's pretty bad for us. Tron. Alright, good chance we die next turn. Tron Burgundy. Am I dead yet? For people who are new to Magic and Modern and a little confused by that concession, my opponent's deck casts Gifts Ungiven there, and they get a bunch of ritual cards which make extra mana, along with the card Past in Flames, which lets them recast the cards from their graveyard, and eventually a copy of Grape Shot, and then they kill us. So I like Ugin in this matchup because it can plus to kill individual dorks, and it also cleans up goblin tokens in case they go that route. We want Thought-Knot Seers as a little bit of hand disruption, Dismember and Spatial Contortion or spot removal. Grafdigger's Cage shuts off their Past in Flames plan. Ulamog's probably a little bit too slow. Stone Raining 2 lands also isn't super relevant a lot of the time. Walking Ballista is probably a little clunky too. Let's do this. Ten's pretty reasonable. It's actually pretty good, right? It doesn't have a way to search up the third Tron piece, but it's got Relic and Grafdigger's Cage as interaction, Spatial Contortion as removal, and then when I do eventually assemble Tron, I have a Wurmcoil Engine to drop as a threat to apply a little bit of pressure through our disruption. Because again, as is key to beating any combo deck in any format of Magic, you can't just have ways to disrupt them because good combo decks are incredibly redundant to play through your disruption. You need to be able to be reducing their health total to 0 while you're disrupting them is very key. Hey, look at that. Tron. Feeling a little cagey here. Yep, Relic and Grafdigger's Cage both prevent them from comboing us super quickly. Like, this hand was very good. The fact that we hit the Tron piece with the Expedition map means I'm ready to drop this Wurmcoil Engine to play and apply real pressure while having these disruptive elements in the form of the Graveyard Hate, and Spatial Contortion, so. Especially being on the play, this is a game that will be pretty likely to win. Hey, Steam Flugger. Thank you for the 22 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Alright. I would like to kill this one. So, a Braid to kill my Cage actually makes me want to be a little bit more conservative here. Because I would like to not... If I don't hold up a Relic activation to pay 1 and exile all graveyards next turn, there's a good chance they could untap and kill us. So, I think it's correct to be conservative here and not deploy the Worm. Yep. That remand is the downside of waiting. Did we draw 4 sideboard cards? 2 sideboard cards. The relics are in the main. Tron plays these relics in the main as a way to hedge these graveyard decks while also just like being a 2-mana card that draws a card. So Spatial and Grafdigger's Cage were out of the sideboard. I don't know if they can make enough goblins here to beat a Wurmcoil. They have 5 spells left, so they can make like 12 goblins. I agree, Larry. I like the Sultai Yarok deck a lot. I'm probably gonna work on that deck for the Arena Mythic Championship qualifier next month. Feels very, very reasonably competitive. All right, opponent's got a bunch of mana. Yeah, I don't know if the combo aspect of that deck is super good, but I think the fair battle plan it has is pretty good. We're gonna play it again today, actually. Marty kicked a bunch of sub gifts to get it back to the top. Why does that seem like a tough matchup? What is it doing that makes it tough? I'm gonna ditch Manamorphose and Desperate Ritual here. They can have a remand and a ritual. Sure. Oh, by giving them the remand, are they gonna natural grape shot me? I think they have enough mana to do that, right? Yeah, I agree. The same social justice warrior is used as a negative term, Griffinson, for the same reason that people, talk about giving healthcare to people being a negative thing. People are selfish and hateful and want what's theirs and don't want anybody else to have anything. Any paper standard hot takes? I mean, is paper standard different than playing arena? I'm not sure that it is meaningfully, right? So Yarok meme field was because I put the combo kill in it. Arcane Adaptation is not in the build we're playing today. It's the best deck in Modern, in my opinion, after the bans. I don't know. It's Modern. There's like 40 decks you can play at any given point. Fine. Find the one that brings you joy and then play that one. Finding someone to pay for it's really not. There are lots of corporations and people that make way too much money and don't pay anywhere near as much in taxes as they should. Also, and this is one of the things we're going on a little bit of a rant here for a second. This is another thing people who support the grand old party don't get. Your taxes go up to pay for nationalized healthcare, but guess what? You're not paying your private insurance premium anymore. So you're gonna pay for your healthcare with your taxes, but you're not paying your private insurance premium anymore. So for a lot of people in the middle class income range, their healthcare would actually cost them less, most likely, in what they'd pay in taxes versus what they pay as a private premium. But people are incredibly stupid and they just hear, my taxes are going up, that can't be a good thing, but in reality, they're paying less money, right? But people, that doesn't fit into a soundbite, so it's really easy for people to get outraged and hear, well, my taxes are going to go up by $300 a month, but I'm not paying this $400 a month insurance premium. And as someone who's taught basic statistics and basic finite math classes to people who are supposed to be adults before, people are idiots and don't understand math for the most part. So like when you try and pitch that to people, they're just like, no, you can't raise my taxes. That's all I heard. I didn't hear the second part. I just heard the part about raising my taxes. Yeah, or you could take some of the ridiculous military spending, but that's even a different topic, right? Yeah, but if your job pays for the healthcare, well, for starters, anyone who pays their job pays for the healthcare, you're paying for that. You're working for it. So again, that's what it comes down to, people not understanding how the money works. If your job's not paying for the private health insurance for you, they can afford to pay you more money. That's how that works. Yeah, it's a really disingenuous argument. I think I'd rather have two Karns. Would I rather have two Karns or a Karn and a Wurmcoil here? I think I'd rather have two Karns. I think on the draw, I just need all the stone rains possible. I mean, and that's why it happens, Fire Emblem. Like, the reason why there's so much misinformation surrounding nationalized healthcare is because you should familiarize yourself, if you don't understand why there's so much misinformation, with how many companies spend incredible amounts of money lobbying to make sure that private health insurance exists. Because private health insurance is an incredible for-profit industry in the United States. And I'm one of those sick, filthy, dirty liberals who thinks that corporations profiting off people getting sick is something that is wrong and shouldn't exist in the 2019. And that opinion makes me a filthy, dirty liberal. Oh, let's stand up for a little bit. Snowflake, exactly. Yeah, that's a pretty good abrade. So they abraded my relic while I was tapped out, which means I wasn't able to exile it. So it gets the hate card off the table for them and denies me a card from cycling it. Yikes, this one's not coming together for us, chat. We've got, you think we can switch to poker? I bet 3-of-a-kind Karns with an Ugin kicker beats their poker hand. Oh, I should have played the star. 10 out of 10 should have played the star. And in fact, then I'd had one more mana and could have cracked this turn, right? I should have played the star. Why not outlaw all health insurance, private and public? I can't tell. This is the internet, so I can't tell if that's a troll statement or a serious statement. I have an uplift desk, and I would explicitly recommend avoiding them. They're one of the cheapest you could find on the market, and they're the cheapest for a reason. The electronics in them are really crappy. In fact, when my father comes down and we figure out the specifications for my new office, we're gonna explicitly be buying a new desk to fit into there. I just haven't done it yet because I don't want to buy a new one and then take it apart. Probably gonna get this map abrade. Which is my fault because I didn't play the star the previous turn, so I couldn't crack this. Listen, that OP dog. As we get closer to the Democratic primary and the general election in 2020, there's going to be more and more politics on this stream. Obviously, it's never going to be the entirety of the stream, but it's probably going to come up at least once a day. And if that bothers you, I have no problem if you need to take your sub dollars and put them other places. But if you're not familiar with the political climate in the United States, a big part of why the rapist and bigot and fearmonger Donald Trump was elected was because of voter apathy and lack of turnout. So I think it is part of my civic duty to encourage other people to get informed and get out and vote as we get closer to that election. And if that's gonna bother you, it's okay if you go watch someone else and support someone else. Making politics a taboo topic of conversation is a lot like how a lot of workplaces discourage their employees from talking about their salaries. They do that because they want to keep the power in the hands of the people that currently have the power. All right, so we've assembled Tron. So if we don't die on their next turn, there's a pretty good chance. That we can win this. Huh? I think I just take the Past in Flames, right? Yeah, I don't have any graveyard hate in sight. So, for the record, one of the conclusions that I've come to that made me a much happier person is that you need to understand that anybody who still supports Donald Trump at this point, nothing could ever change their mind. So if you're someone who's left-leaning and you're interacting with someone who still supports Trump, you should just give up on them. They are a lost cause. Your energy is much better spent trying to encourage people who are otherwise not involved politically to get involved and get out and vote. The effort to return ratio is much better trying to get an apathetic voter to vote rather than trying to convince someone who's still backing that monster in the White House to stop backing him. I mean, different points of view. It depends on what the different point of view is, right? Because, like, there's like the point of view, like, we shouldn't let people profit off the sick, but I disagree with you on how we should accomplish that. That's one thing. But saying, I believe people should die because they can't afford their medical costs, stuff like that. People should go bankrupt because they can't afford their payments. Like, I don't really have an interest in entertaining that point of view, because I think it's toxic and hateful. I also don't give credence to this idea that facts are subjective. This idea that in order to be a fair and balanced news source, you have to tell about all of the sides is nonsense. If someone says it's raining and someone says it's sunny, it's not a reporter's job to report both viewpoints. It's their job to stick their head out the window and find out what's actually going on. All right, so we got, we're on the Turbo Stone Rain then plan, so that's exciting. Yeah, I agree. A lot of people that, especially people like Ben Sharp, are people who intentionally omit facts, or mostly just by omission, to like present the point that they want to have presented as winning or the correct one. All right, I think we're actually gonna limp through. What a weird Tron league. Are we gonna beat Ad Nauseam and Storm in this league? That's pretty unlikely. Yeah, but so part of the problem is, Aaron, so like for instance, after the turtle blocked Obama from appointing the Supreme Court justice seat, like that Kavanaugh seat that got appointed on the Supreme Court, that's going to impact things in this country probably for the next 30 years. So saying you just have to deal with it for the next X amount of days, I think that's very disingenuous to say, because it's just not true. Things like that will have lasting generational impacts. All right, I don't think we die from here. So I think we just ditch. I think I'm supposed to ditch the rituals, right? Maybe I should have killed this Baral. I should have played the other card and killed the Baral. Dougal, thanks for the tier 2 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. And then if they draw a ritual with this Manamorphose, we might actually die here. Well, Bob, if I give them a ritual and a Past in Flames, they can play Past in Flames and flash back all their stuff. Wait, why didn't they put that into play untapped and flashback stuff? I'm so confused. So the problem is, Johnny, is we've tried non-government funded healthcare for a long time now, and it's just not worked. We need something different than profit for off pain. Yeah, might have been a misclick. I think exiling this now means we're good to go. They definitely had a window to kill us last turn because I didn't exile this with Karn. I think I should have. All right, well, we're 3-1. We died to goblins. We got goblin grenaded out of it. Easy 3-2 coming. Yep. Yeah. Like, capitalism in the purest idea should work great, but in functionality, it just doesn't end up working a lot of the time. Like, take for an example one that's not even that hateful or harmful. Look at how ISPs work in the United States. You want a very clear-cut case that capitalism needs regulation or else it fails the people it's trying of the country? Look at how Comcast and Time Warner Cable and all these other big ISPs operate. And tell me that you get good service from unregulated capitalism in every market. It's just not true, right? A small bit of socialism helps the capitalism go down. And I understand when I'm talking, Doctor, that like things aren't ideal and are less than perfect in other countries too. But like, there's always another terrible, bad, broken thing to look at. There's always something else you can point to and say, this isn't good. One of the things that happens a little bit too often is you'll hear people say things like, well, that's not a perfect solution, let's find the perfect solution. When in reality, you almost never have perfect solutions, right? You have iterative, small solutions that happen over time that slowly get better and better. Yeah, it looks like the opponent's playing the Thopter Foundry deck, which this Oblivion Stone is probably going to be pretty good against. That is a second copy of a Tron piece we already have, which is sad. I'm going to grab a power plant here, and then we're going to cycle this into an Ancient Storage, which will find us tower. Or just another star. I think one of my favorite arguments that I hear against nationalized healthcare is people are like, well, I don't want to pay for other people's healthcare costs that aren't my own. And I just want to be like, do you not understand how private insurance works? Private insurance works is all of you just throwing your money in a pool to gamble together, and you're gambling that, you know, you might get sick and these other people won't. Like, you're paying for other people's healthcare on private insurance too. Oh, you know what? I should have cycled this star, because I could have hit the land naturally here. And if I hit the land naturally, I could have played and cracked the Oblivion Stone. Am I dead? I don't think I'm dead. That's true. You're also paying for people who own those companies to be disgustingly wealthy. Yep. I think I'm getting Spyglass here, and then I'm probably dead. Actually, I might just be dead anyways, right? This is going to be 8, 9, 10, 11. Or is it 16, 17, 18, 19? They can equip this. This is, no, wait, what? Oh, they can just start. They're infinite. They're infinite now. They're infinite. Got it. What is the single most important aspect of a successful stream? Depends on what your definition of success is, T-Wooey. So, like, by successful, do you mean like I'm able to pay my jobs with the I'm able to pay my bills with the stream, or like what's our definition of success? What are my cuts here? Ugin, a lot of their artifacts have colors, right? Not really, I guess. I guess this exile's exact. Nah, I'm gonna cut this. It doesn't. Wait, are the Thopters? The Thopters are blue, right? The Thopters are blue. I think I want this as a sweeper. It misses the Urza token, but it cleans up a lot of the rest of it. Cutting Ulamog. Ulamog's probably slow. Let's try this. As far as making your stream successful in terms of turning it into a job, most of the things that allow a Twitch stream to turn into a job are wildly outside of your control. Much like playing Magic, there's a lot of variance in becoming a successful Twitch streamer. So, take me, for example. I've been doing this as a full-time job for almost a year and a half now. My Twitch channel has been partnered for almost 5 years though, and I streamed for a year plus before I was partnered. Anyone who starts streaming with this idea that streaming is going to be this thing that turns into their job is likely going to be incredibly disappointed. You should start streaming because it's something you have fun doing, and if by some stroke of luck it happens to turn into something more than that, count yourself fortunate. And if it doesn't ever turn into something more than that, you should still be happy with it. I did this for years just because I like playing games and I like talking about games while I play them. Yikes. None of those are Tron pieces. None of those are more ways to find Tron pieces either. I guess Relic kinda counts. Kinda. Relic's not even that good of a hate piece in this matchup. Maybe I'm just supposed to take the land there so I can cast the Oblivion Stone next turn. Yeah, I think I should have grabbed the land last turn. That was a mistake. We're probably dead here if they have an average draw. Yeah, this league's actually running long. We're gonna 3-2, we're down a game. I'm gonna move along to the next one. We're fumbling and bumbling. Hit the 3-2. That's true, we do have a full house. O-Stones over cards. Tron deck, go to Tron. We hit the 3-2. Not a huge fan of this archetype in general. It's just like kind of, it's very big dick energy, right? You like put your bomb on the table and you're just like, this is my thing. Hope it's good enough. Please don't tell me my thing's not good enough. I'm in that last matchup specifically, 4-mana Karn would be good. Like 4-mana Karn's definitely good in the matchups where people have artifacts, but again, I'm not a huge fan of it in general just because giving up sideboard slots is really valuable in Modern, and Modern's a format where I feel like you always struggle to have enough meaningful sideboard slots. So we're gonna go ahead and dive on into a Pauper League here next. We got some red aggro.